Hey guys, what's going on? It's Roth and Joshua here to talk a little Gotham. So full spoilers for last night's Gotham, by the way, if you haven't seen it, which was the introduction of Harvey Dent.
Harvey Dent.
Yes. So
Two-Face himself.
Two-Face himself shows up. What do you think?
Fully equipped with a coin. It was the most like over-the-top introduction to Two-Face ever, because he's kind of this calm, cool, well-meaning, collected, guy. And then at one scene, he like loses his mind and like flips on the
I will rip you in half.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like,
I'm sure the audio is awesome right then.
Yeah, so all their levels just spiked in there.
I literally was like, I will kill you. Nice to see you though.
Yeah. It was
great.
Like, it was way too obvious. It's like this huge wink, not even a wink, more like of waving a flag of, hey, this guy's Two-Face. And, I get their need to like reference the villains that people are excited about who eventually becomes like Batman's greatest rogues, but this was a little too like on the nose. And to me, it brings up these sort of bigger issues that I have with the show. And I feel like a lot of people have been talking about this on the internet of just, if you have these villains here and they're constantly like winking at who they eventually will become, but allegedly in the space of the show will never actually become them. So ideally, Two-Face will never appear in the show, and like Catwoman will never appear in the show. But she's like, "Call me Cat," and like Two-Face is like, "Oh, I got this coin, and I clearly have like it's like a split personality." So it's like, what does it mean to the show if we will never like see these characters become who we know them to be?
Right, and Matt, I think, mentioned this in his review of last night's episode as well, as it being an inherent problem or conundrum in the show, in that, either A, you just hint endlessly, say it goes for 10 years, 10 seasons, you just hint endlessly that this person's going to turn into this character that this villain that one day, or they take the turn during the course of the show, and then the villains have arrived before Batman has. Batman's villains have arrived before Batman has. And another interesting thing that you brought up is if they don't, then it brings up this whole theory that Batman created his own villains, that they don't turn to villains until he shows up, which it's really, I think probably what they're going to do is what we've already seen them start to do, which is that they will pick and choose, right? So like Penguin is pretty already a villain. You know?
Well, and also in sort of the comics, he established himself as this like crime boss.
Yeah.
So he was at like the height of his power when Batman came on the scene.
Came along.
That one works, but like all these other ones, it's sort of like weird, like this murky area.
Yeah. Well, like Two-Face certainly shouldn't be Two-Face before Batman is Batman.
Right.
It's tough because you're already also seeing little Bruce really trained to be Batman. It's not like he's young, he's only 12 years old. So either I think that if you didn't have that, then fans would sort of be bummed out about that, because that's probably something people want to see.
Yeah.
But does it feel too early?
Yeah, it's sort of this strange, even just now that I'm thinking about it, like the concept of the show is really weird. It's like, a show about a show about Gotham with no Batman, and then also no villains. But we're going to have everybody there before who they actually are. So, yeah, it's just going to be just like an endless... In a show, we want setup and payoff.
Right.
It feels like we're just going to get set up for like, let's say 10 seasons, and we'll never get payoff until like in Smallville, Superman never actually flew with the suit on until the very last frame. It's like, what's it going to be like?
Yeah. I mean, potentially, because I think another thing that we talked about earlier was that, do these just become Gordon's villains?
Yeah, and that's another huge like can of worms. If Gordon can combat these villains and handle them and protect Gotham without Batman there, why do we need Batman?
Right. Unless he's able to do an okay enough job for a period of time until it's like he no longer can handle it on his own, and that's when Batman shows up.
Yes.
But I mean,
when Batman shows up, isn't that when the show ends?
Yeah, that is when the show ends. In fact, I mean, that's one of the very first things that they said, is that you are not going to see Cape and Cowl until the end of the series. So I think it is a puzzle, but I think it's a puzzle that can be solved if it's done so delicately,
A puzzle, like I know a guy in forensics who would be great for that. His name's Enigma. He's constantly got a riddle.
Yeah, I mean that's another one, right? So I mean, I don't know. I mean, what do you think the answer is? What would you like to see the show do?
I think the show's at its strongest when it was like developing this conspiracy around the Wayne murders and the stuff with the mob, and I thought that was really interesting. And then a couple episodes back, they went back and picked back up on that with the Penguin like revealed himself, and they had that great thing with Mr. Zaz, like everybody get out of here. So I thought that was a really cool episode, and it was like addressing like the overarching story. But I don't want that to be the overarching story. I want it to be like that the main sort of like through line of the show, and it's that sort of like crime story set in Gotham, not this sort of freak of the week kind of thing they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that they are so much doing a freak of the week. I mean, they're doing a really interesting blend of serialized and freak of the week, but introducing, I think, maybe a lot of characters, right? So like, I actually kind of like the Spirit of the Goat episode, which was more of a standalone episode that was, I know you didn't like it, that's fine, you can disagree with it. We're allowed to disagree.
Okay. That one wasn't my favorite, but.
We are allowed to disagree. But I thought that it was kind of like, had some interesting character moments, and I like the idea of exploring these hidden corners of Gotham, you know, things that we haven't seen and have never heard of, and inventing new characters, and to some degree, you know, like this therapist, you know, this hypnotherapist and things like that.
The thing is, I could see Batman dealing with that same villain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if Harvey Bullock can take him on, it's like, what do we need Batman for?
Well, I mean, I think that what you were starting to see is that things are building to a fever pitch, to like, it's already sort of out of control, you know what I mean? So, and it's going to get only more so. I think I tend to agree with you, though, that if you focus on the crime drama aspect of it, like sort of the mafia intrigue, crime drama aspect of it, they've already introduced a lot of characters from this world, which is a delicate balance, again, because that's one of the things that fans like to see. I think, you know, leave it at the ones that we've got, explore their characters fully. Maybe there's aspects of these characters that we could never have dreamed of, and reasons that it takes years and years and years for them to become villains. Find an interesting solve to that, and I think that the show works to some degree. What do you think?
Yeah, I feel like just you've got enough toys to play with.
Yeah.
Play with those, work with those, dial it back a little bit because we know who they're gonna be and everything. So it's a little too like over the top right now. So I think they kind of dial it back, and again, just don't like hit us over the head with who these people are going to be one day. Like make them interesting now, and like put them on a path to who they'll become. Yeah. But again, I still don't know how they're going to deal with the fact that they're all building up to something that we'll ultimately see no payoff to.
Okay. All right. Well, let us know what you guys think. I think we're in agreement on most of the approach.
But not the goat.
If not every single episode.
Don't talk to me about that goat episode.
I'm going to talk to you about the goat. Love the goat. Our message to you is love the goat and the Batman. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Are you liking the villains? Do you think they should pull it back? Do you think that you like the idea of taking the ride with them for 10, 20 years maybe? Let us know in the comments. And for all things Gotham, keep it locked right here to IGN. Love the goat.